Okay guys, so now let's continue with part 2 of the same paper, maths paper 2, exam um, of November 2016. So I had to cut part 1 because I noticed I was actually running out of battery, and again I'd spent a lot of time um, on that question. What was it, on question 4.1? So I wanted to have the length of this question to be 30 minutes, but otherwise let's try to finish off all the questions which are remaining. So guys, just to recap, we are now on question 4.2, where the question says determine the size of angle theta, the obtuse angle between the two lines. Okay, and this question is allocated 4 marks. Okay, so we'll just continue from where we left off. So guys, remember I was just indicating that the sum of the interior angles is equals to 180 degrees. Okay, so now this is the angle that they want us to calculate, which is that angle there. So what I was saying is, if we can calculate that angle and that angle, then we'll be able to obviously make use of this equation to calculate angle theta. Okay, I assume you understand that part. So now let's calculate the angle of MP. So guys, obviously you know that tan theta is equals to the gradient of what is it, PN or MP. Remember, these are collinear points, so whether you say you equate tan theta to a point MP or point PN, it's one and the same thing. And again, even if you say MN. Okay, so for our calculations, let's just refer to that point as MP. Okay, so the tan angle, which is that angle, it's equals to the gradient of that line. So we make use of this formula to calculate that angle. Okay, so remember guys, we've just calculated the angle of that line, which is I'm not sure if you remember, which is 2/3. Okay, so that means we can now say tan angle is equals to 2/3. Okay, so obviously that means theta will be equals to the second function of tan 2/3. So if you punch this on a calculator, it will give you the value of that angle. So let's see. Obviously shift then tan over 2/3 close, it's equals to 33.69. Okay, I hope even when you punch you get the same answer, which is 33.69 degrees. Guys, another important thing that I want you guys to notice, remember guys, at all times, especially when you're writing paper 2, make sure that your calculator is in degrees. Okay, because otherwise if you have it in what is it grade or whatever, something else that you could have there, it might lead you to wrong destination. So please, at all times when you're writing this question paper, just make sure that your calculator is in degrees. You know, it's in most cases where you find brilliant students losing a lot of marks on maths question papers simply because they forgot to set their calculator in degrees. Okay, never forget that part. So guys, now that we have calculated this angle is 33.69 degrees. Okay, let's now use the same approach to calculate the angle for that line AR. So that means tan of beta will be equals to the gradient of AR. Okay, so guys, let's see. We just substitute tan beta is equals to, obviously guys, I won't have to go deep into showing you how the gradient for that line where the gradient of that line is. Obviously we've just noticed that the formula for that line, it's negative 1 over 2x plus 4, isn't it? This is the formula we're just given straight away from the statement, so we can just straight away substitute what we already know. We know that the gradient for that line, it's negative 1 over 2, isn't it? This is the m of that line. So same thing guys, now it means angle theta, it's equals to second function of negative half, negative 1 over 2, isn't it? So now let's just we can just edit there. Let me see, I'm not sure if you've got a calculator. It will be negative 1 over 2, which is, I'm getting a negative angle. This is very, very good. It's negative 0.57 degrees. So guys, this is very, very much interesting. Remember, we just unintentionally got what we're looking for. Remember guys, this is that x-axis, isn't it? So this is that x-axis, and then we've got that line, okay, that line which is r there, and then you've got the y-axis there, but I'm not interested in that part. I just want you to focus on that part. So this is that angle theta, angle beta, isn't it? So now the angle that we got, it's negative 26.57 degrees. Between these two angles guys, obviously this is a smaller angle and then this is the greater angle. So we indirectly calculated that angle, even though for this question this is the angle that we're calculating for. So that means, obviously, this is a straight line. From that straight line, this is 180 degrees. If we subtract this negative angle, then we get that angle, even though it's not the angle that we're looking for. So if we want to then calculate the angle of beta, you just add 180 degrees. Then the answer that you get, let me see, just say plus 180 degrees, it's 153.434, so it becomes 43. So that means guys, that angle is the it's the greater angle or the bigger angle, which is 153.43, and this angle is the one which is 26.57 degrees. Okay, so now can you see we have already calculated which angle, that one we have already calculated that angle, and now we just calculated that angle. So this is obviously 33.67 degrees, and this is 20, what is it, it's 26.57. so for us to be able to get the value of that angle, which is that angle that we're looking for, obviously it's 180 minus 2 of this angle. Okay, so let's now see. That means angle theta will be equals to 180 degrees minus 2 of these angles. You can just say minus 26.57 minus 33.67. So the answer that you get is angle theta. So just pull out your calculator. 180 minus 26.57 57 minus 33.67, it's equals to 119.76, 119.76 degrees. So guys, means that angle is 119.76 degrees. Okay, so guys, I'm not sure if you fully understood how we calculated that angle, but this is how you do it. This is actually the procedure that you follow in order for you to calculate that angle. So remember guys, we might have gone it the other way, where you find that we've rounded it off multiple times and you find that maybe we get a bigger number because we have rounded too many times. But otherwise, if you approach it differently, you will still round off and you might not get the same answer, but you shouldn't be that much off. Okay, so now this is where you score some marks. Let's see where you score your first mark, because you know it's very, very much important that you calculate this angle. So that's why I'm thinking this is where we'll give you your first mark for calculating the first angle. Okay, and the other formula comes from let's see, obviously with you being able to notice that this is actually the formula to use, because for you to notice that the gradient for that line is -1/2, it really indicates that you do have a good understanding of what you're doing. So we can just give you a mark for that. And again, for you to calculate that angle there, we can also give you a mark. So we'll give you a mark for calculating that angle, and again we'll obviously give you a mark for the final answer. So this is how you would score. Don't confuse those ticks. So this question is allocated 4 marks. So this is where you can score your mark. This is where they can give you a mark, and this is where they can give you your 3rd mark and your 4th mark. Okay, so guys, I assume you understood exactly what we did there. So now let's move to the next question. Okay guys, so now let's move to question 4.3. I'll just quickly, okay, there, if you can see, question 4.3 says calculate the length of MR. Okay, so it shouldn't be a complicated question. So it's question 4.3. They say calculate the length of MR. So this is M, this is R. Remember guys, we just calculated that K on our first question, and the value of K was -3. So that means from there to there, it's -3. In terms of the length, is 3 units. Then from there to there, if we can be able to calculate from there to there, we can be able to then sum up the 2 lengths and be able to provide the length of MR. Okay, so that's what the question wants us to calculate, the length of MR. So guys, let's see, at that point, this is the x-intercept of that point, and we know at that point that's where y is equals to 0. We don't know what is the x value at that point. So how about we use this formula to calculate the x-intercept at that point? So that means we can use this formula, -1/2x plus 4. We know at that point our y value is equals to 0. So we can just equate this to 0 plus 4. Okay, so let's move this to that side, it becomes 1 over 2. We are basically solving for x, guys, nothing complicated. Okay, so now we can just cross multiply or divide by half, then you remain with x. 4 divided by half, it's equals to 8. Okay, you can just punch it on a calculator. It's as easy as it is. So that means that x coordinate there, it's equals to 8. Okay, so if from there to there it's equals to 3, and from there to there it's equals to 8, then it means from M to R it's actually 11 units. So length of MR is equals to there it's from there to there it's 8 units plus 3 units. Okay, which makes it 11 units. So this question, it was as easy as it is, guys. You shouldn't have you know, you don't have to stress that much when it comes to this question. It's easy and it's straightforward. So guys, this is where you score your 3 marks. This question wasn't that much complicated. Just noticed it was allocated 3 marks. So we can just give you a mark. I think this is where you can score a mark for just equating to 0. And we can also give you a mark there for being able to calculate the x coordinate at that point, and again for adding these two lengths, then we give you a mark. So this is how you score your 3 marks. So now, guys, let's move to the last question. Okay, guys, so now let's move to question 4. Is it 4.3 or 4.4? It's 4.4. We just did 4.3. So, guys, question 4.4 says calculate the area of triangle MNR. So let me just find a different marking pen. Let me use I think you'll be able to see that color. Okay, so guys, I want to show you the triangle that they are talking about. Let's have a look at the points. Where is M? This is M, okay, and then N, this is N, and then R, this is R. So you first need to identify the triangle that they are talking about. So that means that triangle, it's moving along that line up to there, and then from there it has to join to that R, and then from there it moves up to that point. So that means this is the triangle that they are talking about, which is M, N, and R. Okay, so guys, it's one of those easy questions. You just need to know what is the formula for the area of a triangle. So we know the area of a triangle is equals to half length times breadth. Okay, so in this case it will be an area of half. This will be the length, which is what is it? It's MR. Let me see, MR. Yes, MR. And obviously, guys, when it comes to the breadth, you just need to be careful when it comes to this part. So this is where we talk of, it's actually that point. So let me just refer to that as what is it? A perpendicular height. A perpendicular height. Okay, so this is the breadth of that triangle. So it doesn't really matter if you just apply the formula that you know for a triangle, but I just wanted it to make sense that this is our length in this case, which is MR. Do we actually know what is that length, guys? We do, because we just calculated it from the previous question. We know this is 11 units. Okay, we know that is 11 units. And again, do we know what is the value of that perpendicular height? Do we know what is the length from there up to there? Let me see. We obviously know, guys. It's 4. It's even given there in the coordinates of n. It's 4. So that means we've got all that we need. We just substitute. MR, it's 11 units, and what is the perpendicular height or the breadth? It's equals to 4. Okay, so you just punch all of this on a calculator. You know 4 divided by that, it's 2. Then 2 times 11 is 22 units, because we haven't got the what is it? We haven't got, I mean, the units there. It's not in meters, it's not in kilometers, it's just units. So that's why our final answer will be in units squared. Okay, so guys, this is how you calculate the last question of this question paper. So I assume you understood from the first question until the end. So now I'll just quickly show you exactly where you score some marks. Okay, so they're going to give you a mark for writing the correct formula, and again, obviously, you know, for substitution they also give you a mark there, and again they give you a mark for the final answer, which means this question was allocated 3 marks. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how you solve for this question. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you understood. Otherwise, if you've got some questions, you can just drop your questions or comments, suggestions, whatever it is. You can just drop it in the comment section, and I will see you tomorrow when we do our live lesson. I'm not really sure of what we'll be looking at tomorrow, but just make sure that you keep on checking my WhatsApp status for updates. Otherwise, guys, my name is Desmond, and I'm out.